They were watching it, it was a cheating scandal eventually. Lo and behold, we have the lower part of the screen. Those are actually
security here in the big national events and security overall for the North American Championship.
Yeah, I think around from back in 2015, the standard for a top bridge game is to have some kind of videotape of the players playing at the table. It serves two pieces. One, most immediate, is that if something happens and you're calling a director, you can review the video and see what actually happened. I'm also a certified director myself. I know from experience that typically you get 4 different stories for 4 different players at the table. They all witness the same. They all telling the truth. Each of them different truth. They violently disagree, and the truth was completely different. It was something else. It's just how it works. The video is very useful because it provides an objective source of information what happened, and it makes the ruling maybe not more pleasant to players, but certainly more accurate. And
most bridge players love bridge in duplicate because we're all playing the same hands. It's this level of fairness, so people should be happy that you guys can go back to the video and actually try to parse together the truth.
Yeah, and it's impacting not only those 4 players, but also, as you mentioned, the other tables, so the other contestants. The rulings are better, but that's for the immediate use. We also have other use, and that's more long-term, which is catching cheaters. You just need one bit of information. The information is there or it's not there. Maybe you're touching your nose once a board, like once every 2 boards, and that's enough to make a difference in the highest level of play. The only way to actually figure that out and later to prove it is to have videos. But you don't play that many boards, really. You might not be cheating on every board. If you have 6-player team, you are sitting out, you might get you dropped on the second day. You only played for 1 day, 1 session, and against a very strong team or like weak team or whatever, or with a different partner. We don't really get that much video. We really have to be keeping all of the videos that we're taking of all the bridge play that we have over many years. That's the only way we can actually later prove that someone was cheating. The standard practice is that all bridge play on screens, recording stable cameras. We have 2 types of surveillance during bridge events, during bridge play on NABC.
We're in the room of the Soloway knockouts.
Yeah, currently the Soloway knockouts, it's soon to become the Risinger room. What we internally refer to this is the screen room, because it's the only room in the NABC that has screens. Obviously, screens have the top piece, the bottom piece, the tray, stuff like that. Everyone's familiar with that, but we also have, for each of the screens, we have a table camera. We have each individual table has individual camera. Those cameras are connected to a centralized recorder. We have a preview of all the tables happening. If someone knocks over a camera, we can correct that too. Should the director need footage from any of the tables, he just informs staff what table he needs from what time, and we can pull out the videos. Later, all of the videos are uploaded to YouTube. They're part of the public space. You can review them and maybe find yourself playing over there. That's one way of surveillance that we're doing. We also have another way, which is for more general use. This setup takes a lot of space, and we have a lot of tables during nationals. We wouldn't be able to wire that many cameras, and we wouldn't be able to set up this many screen tables, which take more space. In a regular playing space, it looks slightly different, and we can potentially go to the other space.
Yeah, do you want to show how this works for everybody?
It came about because of the cheating, and the top piece came about first. The idea is that if you move over here, there's a window that I close. During the bidding, you can't really see your partner at all. You make your bids using the bidding box, which also is a fairly new invention. Each of the players makes the bids, and then the tray is pushed over the other side. Those players make their bids, and the tray arrives here. You have to make sure that you see all of the bids, and that's how we do it during the play. I can't really send any signals showing anything to my partner unless I'm doing something with a tray.
And then explain where that came from.
So the top part happened because people were, for example, putting cigars in a certain way on the table, because back in the old days you could actually smoke. The bottom part came after the top part was already there, but there was a kibitzer who noticed that the partners, so one partner put a foot on the other foot and pressed a little bit. And you would expect that the other person would remove their foot. That's the natural reaction, but it didn't happen. And that was very awkward to the kibitzer. And then he noticed that they're actually doing it back and forth regularly. They were watching it. It was a cheating scandal eventually. Lo and behold, we have the lower part of the screen. Those are actually improvements all the time. The bidding box is an improvement because some people used to say, I have one spade or it's one spade with. And some people still do that when they play at home. Bidding box takes care of that. Looking at your partner's face and facial expressions and how he puts cigar out, or I don't know, bottle of Coke maybe nowadays. That's the top part of the screen. Kicking is the lower part of the screen. You can still, during play, you have to open. You actually knock first and then the other side, initial opening of the screen. But now it's way more interactive than the bidding. It's a faster pace. You have to see something. You have very limited view of your partner. Then again, there are some opportunities to cheat. One of the ways of allegedly cheating was that if you played your card, you either played it vertically or horizontally, which is a very subtle distinction. People typically do it on random. What if it's not random? The screen does not prevent that. That's why we have cameras, because later we have to look at the video, identify whether there is actually some kind of a pattern, and hopefully have some eventually conviction. It's very difficult to convict users, sadly.
Actually, with AI, eventually you guys are going to be able to send it in and have the computer watch the patterns of specific players, and the computer will do all the work. It's coming.
Yeah, there are two pieces of that. The current AI that we have, which is large language models, it's not very good at reasoning. It can do a little bit of reasoning with the newest version of the ChatGPT. Inherently, it's not very good at reasoning, and this is very reasoning related. But then again, it might be cutting correlations. Then we come to the other piece that we have. You only play one board once. You can't compare this person playing this board against hundreds of people playing the same board. Sometimes you can do that during that, but for AI, you would really prefer to have 1 million people playing this board. Then you can train the model. It's very difficult to train the model because everyone is using a different bidding system. Everyone is playing different board, and everyone has slightly different strategic situation in the match.
It might be able to optically see how people are placing their cards on the table, if there's patterns there.
Yeah, eventually. But at the moment, there were some attempts to at least have optical recognition of the card because of the cards played. That would be very useful. But even this proves to be very challenging because each space that we go have slightly different lighting. The cards, believe it or not, but those are reflective a little bit. Not to human eye, but a lot to the camera eye. At the moment, it's even difficult to figure out optical recognition cards, let alone to apply some logic to processing that data. It's going to happen, definitely.
Okay. And then where are you joining us from, Marcin? What is your home country?
Oh, I'm actually working remotely from Poland.
Yeah.
So I'm just coming every now and then for an ABCs and sometimes to visit the office. It's actually quite an adjustment because now I work in the evenings and I don't work in the mornings, but that way I avoid all the traffic, which is very nice.